Are you tired of guessing when it comes to your diet? Maybe you've tried everything: low carb, keto, calorie tracking, but nothing seems to stick, right? Or you're just stuck in a cycle of frustration where you cannot seem to see any results no matter how hard you try. Here's the hard truth. Until you truly understand your calories, your macros, and how your metabolism actually works, you will stay stuck in this guessing game and you'll never gain control of how your body actually works or find that food freedom. In this training, I'm going to change all of that for you. Let's get straight into it. Just so that we're on the same page, I'm going to teach you how to stop guessing when it comes to nutrition and your health and fitness goals. I'm going to teach you how to start living, take back control of your body, and break free from the frustrations of toxic periodic diet culture and the conundrum of your own body for good. Okay? Most people fail at dieting because they just don't understand their body's energy needs or macros. Okay, and today I'm going to break it all down for you. I'm going to give you the tools that you need to calculate your calories, balance your macros, and most importantly, escape the frustration for good. This is the foundation of transforming your body and your relationship with food. And once you master this, you'll never have to guess again. Okay, so key points we're going to cover today. First, how to calculate your maintenance calories and your goal calories. So important. It's the foundational elements you have to know to be able to go to the next step in terms of your goals. Okay. And then very important, why chronic dieting just doesn't work and how you can reverse it. Okay. Then as a bonus, I'm going to just give you quick tools and quick solutions to making this all so much easier to implement yourself. But before I do that, I need to give you the context so that you understand why the tools and the solutions I'm going to give you are so super powerful. All right, step one, maintenance calories. This is where everything starts. The reason I am doing this training is when I was getting my last haircut at my barber, the barber across the chair from me was saying that he wants to get into shape. And I just asked him how he plans on doing that. And he said, oh, well, I'm just going to eat healthier. And I said, well, what does that look like? He's like, oh, just eating more salads and less processed foods, which can help to some degree. But and then from there, I explained to him what maintenance calories are, how to correctly go about the process. And his face just lit up and he didn't know anything that I was basically taking him through. And it's why I thought that this training will be so powerful for people to just understand. It just made me realize that so many people don't understand what this is, and it really is the pivotal point for you to understand how to move towards your goals in a faster and more sustainable manner. Okay. Now, we need to understand what our maintenance calories are made up of. And first, we need to understand what our basal metabolic rate is. Okay, to get our maintenance calories, we've got to take our base metabolic rate, we've got to add it to our total daily energy expenditure, and that is then going to give us our maintenance calories. Okay, base metabolic rate refers to the energy that our body needs to just survive. Things like blinking, digestion. If I just woke up in bed and I didn't move for the rest of the day, that is the amount of energy that I will use for that day. Okay, then we need to add our total daily energy expenditure. This is the total number of calories that your body burns in a day, including all activities and physiological functions. So it's everything in addition to just surviving that we're going to use energy for. Okay. 60 to 75% of our total daily energy expenditure is made up of our base metabolic rate. Then we've got the thermic effect of food, which makes up 10%, which basically means that our body burns energy to digest food. Then we've got NEAT that makes up 15 to 30%. NEAT is non-exercise activity thermogenesis, which means all the calories that we burn, that is not just for surviving, that's not digesting food, it's all the activity in between those things and exercising. So everything we do in between. When we wake up, we walk to the restroom, to the toilet. We brush our teeth, we're burning calories. We walk down the stairs or up the stairs to the refrigerator or kitchen. We go from our house to our car, from our car to our office, from our office to our car, back to the house or to the grocery store, walking from the parking lot into the grocery store, around the grocery store, back. You get the point. That is non-exercise activity thermogenesis. A lot of times when you start a new program, when you start working with somebody, you hear a lot of people with the target of 8 to 10,000 steps a day. That is to increase your NEAT levels because that is going to increase your caloric burn by 15 to 30%. Okay. And then obviously exercise activity, the amount of calories you're burning in the actual gym. Okay. So when you add this and you add this, that is what's going to give you your maintenance calories. Okay, but how? So how do we measure these things and how do we know what our personal base metabolic rate is and our total daily energy expenditure? Well, there's two ways. There's the hard way, which requires maths, and then there's the easy way. Okay. The hard way, if you want to do things the hard way, you can pause this video right now and you can read there's a formula for men and there's a formula for women to get your base metabolic rate. And then there's a multiplier. So depending on how active you are throughout the day will depend how much you multiply this number by 1.2, 1.375, 1.5, 1.72. Okay, and that's going to give you your maintenance calories. The easier way is I've just given you a calorie calculator. Much easier, right? So if we click through here, it'll take you to this page. We're going to use me as an example. So I am 35 years old. I'm 5'8". I've got a funny story around my height with me and my wife. If you want to, just DM me and I'll tell you about it. And then my weight, I'm actually 195, right? Okay. And I'm just going to hit calculate. As easy as that. Bam. No math needed. It's super easy. 2600 is my maintenance calories. Okay. So that's the easy way. And I'll drop the link to this calorie calculator below this video as well so that you can get what your maintenance calories are. That's your starting point. Okay. Big thing to understand though. The calculation that we've just done is based off of the general population. That is, if you are a perfectly general average person, that number is going to be super accurate. But because we are not all the same, and because we have different genetics, that means that the number that we calculate could be, there's a 26% discrepancy. It could be 26% higher or it could be 26% lower. So what does that mean for you? How do we then know like what our accurate number is? Because if I look at this number, 26% less and 26% more already changes that number. Okay. So how do we figure this out then? The key is that we need to start somewhere, right? So we do the calculation from how I've just shown you. We then implement eating at those calories. Then we've got to measure the outcomes from eating at those calories. So we eat at those calories we've worked out for 4 to 6 weeks or 8 weeks. But when you're calculating, you're not calculating, or you're not going to implement just on your maintenance calories, because your maintenance calories is going to keep you the same, right? We want to manipulate our maintenance calories for our goals. So if we want to lose weight, we've got to eat a bit less. If we want to put on weight, we've got to eat a bit more. And I'm going to show you the exact numbers and how to do that. But for the purpose of this, we got to make the first calculation, make the adjustment. Then we got to implement. Then we got to measure the changes that we see. Is the scale moving? Are our pictures changing? Can we feel our clothes start fitting us better? Those are all measures. Then we've got to adjust accordingly. Now, how do we know where or how to adjust? Examples. If nothing's changing, you're staying the same, you need to drop your calories more, which means you could be on the lower end of this 26%, meaning that your metabolism is somewhere between the 26% slower than the average population. Okay. If you're drastically losing weight, but you're kind of like a zombie and you've got no energy, that's a good indication that you're going to actually increase your calories. Okay. So that's the adjustment portion. Then you got to re-implement after you've adjusted. So the adjustment is going to take some more calculations, or it's just an increase or a decrease. You're going to re-implement. And then guess what? You're going to remeasure and you're going to readjust. And until you get to what I like to refer to as your caloric sweet spot. Now, what is your caloric sweet spot? This is the point that you're eating just the right amount of calories, that you are full of energy and you can do everything that you want to do and you're not super hungry, but you're also burning the most amount of fat. That is where we are trying to get to, right? That is figuring out where we are specifically within this variation. Okay. If we're eating too much, we're going to put on excessive body weight. We're going to feel sluggish and just not good, right? If we're eating too little, we're going to have poor performance because we're going to be like a zombie. We're not going to have much energy and we're not going to be able to recover correctly. So eating too little is a problem. This is why toxic periodic diets are super bad, because they throw you into a ridiculously low caloric amount and it's just going to damage your body. Okay, we want to aim for that caloric sweet spot. All right, so what is your goal, right? So how do we manipulate our maintenance calories to get to our goal? And it's pretty simple. If you want to maintain where you are and you want to stay the same, well, just keep the calories the same. So whatever you get from that initial calculation, that's where you're going to eat. If you want to lose weight, we've got to decrease calories. And if you want to gain muscle, we've got to increase calories. Okay. So for this example, I'm going to take losing weight, because that's the biggest thing that a lot of people want to do. So if we want to lose weight, we've got to reduce our calories by between 300 to 500 calories. Okay. This is a healthy caloric reduction. Anything more than this, and it's going to be a sustainable, an unsustainable rate to eat at. Okay. If we're going to reduce by 300 to 500 calories, what's the rate of weight loss we can expect? Anything between 1 pound to 3 pounds is realistic and sustainable at this caloric reduction. Okay. You've got to be patient. If you just go and drop your calories by 1,500 calories, you're going to be miserable. You're going to be starving yourself. You're going to be damaging your body in the process. And it's just going to make things even harder and worse for you as you progress. And I'm going to show you exactly what long periods of time at a reduced caloric amount, how it affects your body, and why it puts you in a worse off position later on. That's part of this training. Okay. So be patient and enjoyable food. You have to enjoy this process. This is huge. Don't go and put yourself through a diet that is torturous, because it's not going to be sustainable. You're not going to enjoy it. And it's only inevitably going to be for a short period of time. Okay. So for how long? Well, how long should we be eating in a caloric deficit? And some of you might be thinking, well, what do you mean? I've got to eat like that all the time because I want to change. And that's not the case. Okay. Now, before I move on, I just want you to understand that this is why knowing your maintenance calories is just so super important. We will not know how to adjust if we don't know where to start. This is the starting point for any of your health and your fitness goals, especially looking at body composition change. All right. So what is the problem? Okay. Basically goes in with time and calories. Now, what happens when we eat in a deficit for too long? Okay. I'm going to change my pen. Red. Okay. So our bodies are extremely adaptive. If we go to gym and we're lifting heavier weights, our body is going to adapt and it's going to become stronger. If we're eating a lot of food and we're training a lot, our body's going to adapt. Our body is, we're putting our body through a lot of activity. We're feeding it more food. Naturally, our metabolic rate is going to increase. The same is true for a caloric deficit. If we're going to eat at a lower caloric amount for prolonged periods of time, our metabolic rate is going to adapt to that. It's just the way the body works because we are so extremely adaptive. Okay. So this is calories on the left-hand side, and this is time. Now, this is just for information purposes. This is not an accurate depiction of time, okay? The depiction of calories may be more accurate though, all right? So what happens? This is your maintenance calories that you've just worked out, your current metabolic rate. Didn't want that to be right. Your current metabolic rate, your maintenance calories is what we've worked out. So let's say it's 1,800 calories. Because you know that and you want to lose weight, well, now you're going to put yourself in a 500 calorie deficit. This is your new diet. This is the amount of food you're going to be eating. Now, what happens is over time, because your body is adaptive, your metabolism is going to decrease while you are losing weight. Okay, so during this time, yep, you're going to lose weight. Okay, because you're eating less than what your metabolic rate is. Now, if you're like, oh, I've eaten in a calorie deficit for years and years and nothing's changed, I'm going to explain to you exactly why. And this is exactly why. Okay, you eventually get to the point where the amount that you are eating now meets your body's metabolic rate. So basically, you are now eating at maintenance. And this is where you hit a plateau. And this is where things get frustrating because you're like, oh, well, it was working for me. And now all of a sudden it's not working anymore. Why? This is why, because our bodies have adapted. So what do you naturally do? Next step is naturally, you're going to drop your calories again, right? Because that's what helped you lose weight. So now you drop your calories and this is going to be your new diet at 1,000 calories. But what's going to happen? The exact same thing is going to happen because why? Our bodies are extremely adaptive. So again, your metabolism is going to drop. So this green line met this blue line. And in order for us to lose more weight, we've got to drop our calories again. Okay, so this is weight loss. This is good. We want this. But the problem is now we are at 1,000 calories. So if we're following the principles of how to lose weight, which is eat less and move more, what do we do next? The natural next thing is, oh, well, we've got to drop calories some more, right? So that we can create that gap so that we can lose some more energy. But we are not eating 800 calories. I don't know about you, but eating 800 calories is not enjoyable or sustainable. And it's why I refer to this area as being in diet jail. Because you are stuck in this place of having to eat ridiculously low calories to get any response out of your body. And what's going to happen here? You're just going to give up. It's not sustainable. And then you go back to the way you ate. You're going to eat here at 1,800 calories. And what does that mean? It means that you're just going to go and put on all the weight again that you've lost. You're just going to shoot up. Boom. And that's where a lot of people just get frustrated. Or you're just resilient and you get stuck eating here. But when you're eating this ridiculously low amount of food, your body starts breaking. This is where you get hormonal imbalances. Systems in your body are not working properly because you're not correctly nourishing yourself. Okay, so this is just a more neat diagram of what I've just done. You can see metabolism is decreasing. The green is where you're losing weight. But eventually you just get stuck at this point where you've got to eat too little food to see any changes. This is another way to depict it, right? Extreme diet causes your metabolism to slow. You hit a plateau. You then fall off because nothing's working. Then you're going to return to dieting, another crash diet. But when you return to dieting, your metabolism is lower than when it first started. And you basically get caught in this downward spiral of having to eat less and less food to see any changes in your body. Okay. So what's the solution? This is exactly why I have created the 4R transformation system. It's to prevent you from getting into that situation, or if you are in that situation, getting you out, and basically teaching you how to sustainably lose weight and keep your results for the rest of your life. Okay, so how does this work? We start with phase 1, which is the rebalance phase. This is important because we are correcting hormonal imbalances, which could be caused from chronic under eating, over dieting, but we're also going to repair metabolic damage. Okay, so which means that we've damaged our metabolism. It's so super low. We've got to repair it. We've got to bring it back up. But there's a lot of things that we need to do to just rebalance and realign our bodies to actually start working again. That then allows us to go into the second phase. The second phase is the revitalize phase. This is where we need to establish a new metabolic set point. We need to reboot, reset, increase your metabolism so that we're going to, when we now make adjustments to see huge change in our body, it's happening at a higher food rate And this is where food freedom comes in. When you're eating more food, but seeing more change, that's what we need to get to. But we have to go through this process of revitalizing first. So we're going to fix the damage, get our body working the way that it should be, correct hormonal imbalances and any other damage that chronic dieting has caused. We're then going to revitalize your body. We're going to increase your metabolism, reset things, get you eating more food. We use very specific nutrition and training strategies to implement this correctly. Then guess what? Once we've got your metabolism back up to where it should be and your body's working the way that it should be, then we go into the reshape phase. This phase is all about body composition change. This is where we put you back into a healthy caloric deficit, and the fat is just going to melt off your body. Because we've done the hard work in these two stages, this is where you see huge change in your body. The mistake that a lot of people make is when they start their journey up here, they want to go straight into this with an extreme caloric deficit, and it just causes havoc, right? It puts you back into this cycle where you're just stuck, miserable, in diet jail, and nothing is working for you, okay? This is where you want to be, where you are, instead of having to eat 1,000 calories to lose weight, you're eating 1,800, even 2,000 calories plus, and you are seeing the fat dripping off of your body. This is what I've done for so many of my clients. I know that this works. The system is game-changing, okay? The last phase is the retention phase. It's giving you the keys to your body, teaching you how to do this so that you know how to take yourself through your phases of your nutrition and your health and your wellness plan on your own, so that you never end up in the position of being in diet jail and just not seeing any changes in your body. Okay, there's a big health component to this whole process. It's not just about body composition change, it's about keeping you healthy. Okay, so I want to give you the keys to your body, teach you how to do all of this so that you can not only get to your goals that you want, have the life that you want, have the body that you want, but you're going to retain it. It's going to be sustainable. Okay, now the food and energy balance part is one part of the equation. Okay, there's 4 other huge things that I work on with my clients. Nutrition we've spoken a lot about, but even within nutrition, there are strategies. Depending on where you are in your process is going to dictate how you approach your nutrition, where you need to start, what macro splits you need to focus on, nutrition timing, what type of diet. All these things go into the planning of nutrition. But more importantly, it's doing all these things in an enjoyable manner, because guess what? If you're eating an enjoyable diet, you're going to be able to sustain it for longer. And if you can sustain an enjoyable diet for longer, guess what? That's where you're going to get results at a sustainable rate, because you've made this a lifestyle. So within nutrition, there's a lot to consider. Okay, then obviously training. We know that training is a huge part of this equation. But again, how do you need to train? What's realistic for you? Let's start there. How many hours in a day do you have? How many days a week do you have? Where do you feel most comfortable training? What do you enjoy doing? Should you be doing full body? Should you be doing split days? Should you be doing cardio? What sort of cardio should you be doing? There's all these answers, all these questions that need to be answered. And it's going to be very dependent on you as an individual. What's your journey been? What's worked for you? What hasn't worked for you is going to dictate how you should be training to get to your goals. Mindset and psychology is absolutely huge. Okay, this in itself is a whole training that I'm going to do. But what I work through with my clients is understanding what your health blueprint is. Okay, what drives your decisions behind your eating and your training. If you're somebody that can start a diet, no matter how good the diet is, how good the training program is, but no matter what, you just cannot seem to stay consistent, even though it's an enjoyable process for you, it's something in your health blueprint that is blocking you. Your health blueprint refers to the way that your mind has been conditioned from a very young age to look at things like food and training and your health and your wellness. An example is, I grew up in a home where I could not leave the dinner table if my plate of food was not finished, or I was rewarded with dessert for finishing my plate. So what does that do to me? Now, because I've been conditioned like that as a young person, every time I go out to a restaurant, well, guess what? It's a challenge for me to now finish this plate of food. So you're actually giving the keys to your body to that restaurant or to that chef, because no matter what they put on that plate, guess what? You're going to make sure that you finish it. Understanding things like this is going to dictate how you move on from here on with your relationship with food and your body and with training. Okay. If you're rewarded with dessert after every meal, well, guess what? After every meal, you're going to be craving some sugar. You're going to be craving that dessert as a reward because you cleaned your plate. Those are 2 examples. Your health blueprint goes super deep. And again, it's very unique to you. Okay. I help my clients through this on a very intimate basis. I ask the right questions, but I've also got the tools to break free from this conditioning from a very young age. And it is a game changer to reestablish your relationship with food, your relationship with your body, and your training. Okay, and that's obviously where the accountability and support factor comes in. There's no shame in asking for help. This process is complicated. Okay, you've got your own life to live. You are a professional at what you do. I don't want you to have to take the burden on your shoulders of having to figure all this stuff out on your own. Putting together a nutrition plan that takes in all the calculations we've just gone through in an enjoyable manner, working out your macros, working out your micronutrients, that's a job on its own. Working out your training program, job on its own. You cannot be your own psychologist. You cannot be your own mindset coach. You cannot do this stuff on your own because you are wired a certain way. And it's very difficult to get yourself out of that. And that's where the value of coaching comes in. Okay. Understanding this process and through this 4R transformation system, this is what I'm good at. This is what I do for people, right? People just like this. I've helped hundreds, thousands now of people get into the best shape that they've ever been. And all these people came to me with the same struggle. What they were doing was not working, not seeing changes in their body. What they were doing when they were younger is just not working for them. Okay. This is real change. This is me here. I apply all this stuff on myself every single day. And we've helped hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people do this. Okay. So the point of this training was to show you and teach you what goes into this process and give you a starting point. If you are somebody that you realize you need the accountability and support, you need somebody to do all of this for you so that you don't have to do it, I'm going to offer you the opportunity to get onto a consultation call with me. Okay. Let's get on a call. Let's discuss, see where you're at, see what you need. And from there, we can put together a strategy for you. Okay. Nothing I do is generic or copy paste because quite honestly, it's going to be very hard to design a full-fledged system like this for the general population. Okay, I don't do that. The reason I start with a call before I work with anybody is so that I understand where you're coming from and I understand where your starting point is, because then I can put together a strategy for you. Okay, if you're looking for somebody to be like, hey, I'll help you for $500 or $400 or $300, whatever the case would be, is whatever the price tag is, like, try and find somebody else to coach you, because if they can give you a price up front and say, hey, this is what it's going to take up front without even talking to you, they're just giving you a generic plan. Okay, I don't do things that way. I want to talk to you face to face and understand how I can help you, talk through the details of that, make sure that you're comfortable and understand what that's going to look like for you before you make any decisions. And that's why I start with a one-on-one call. Okay. Then if you are somebody that doesn't need the accountability and support, you understand nutrition, you understand training pretty well, but you're just looking for recipes, you're looking for guidance, you're looking for training programs, you're just looking for those actual tools for you to just stay consistent with, it's exactly why I've put together my own app, right? So this app will work out a custom nutrition plan for you and a training program. You input information on the front end. I've got a team on the back end that then uses that information to put a plan together for you. You'll have endless recipes so that you're never getting bored. You've got endless workout programs so that you're never getting bored as well. I'm going to teach you how to program correctly within there. And there's a whole bunch of mindset and coaching resources in there as well. Depending on when you're watching this training, you'll either be directed to an early VIP waitlist, or you'll actually just go straight in. Okay, I'm launching this on the 20th of January, 2025. So depending on when you're watching this, will dictate if you're going to go onto the early VIP list or if you go straight in. If you get onto the early VIP list, there's obviously going to be founders discounts, there's going to be incentives and all those good things. Okay, so you've got two options. You've got three options. First option is you take everything that I've taught you and you go and you do it on your own. Empower to you if you're able to do that. I hope that this has given you some context and helped you understand how your body works. But if you want more help and you're tired of struggling, and this is for people that understand the value of coaching and that you want to get from where you are to where you want to be in the fastest way possible, but the most sustainable way possible. And then this is if you just need access to recipes, your own custom nutrition plan, your own custom training program, and you don't need any of the accountability and support, this is going to be your solution. Okay, so there you have it. I'm going to be doing a lot more of these trainings. We're going to uncover more concepts. If you like this, wherever you see it, hit a thumbs up or subscribe if that's an option. The resources are going to be below this video. The links to everything I've told you you can get is going to be below this video.